Good evening, everyone. Imagine a world where the very essence of our constitutional rights are under attack, where the fundamental right to bear arms is stripped away, leaving you vulnerable and defenseless. Today, we gather to defend our freedoms, to challenge the notion that we should never ban guns in any way. Banning guns is not only unconstitutional, but a direct assault on our individual liberties. Today, we will dive in deep why banning firearms is a bad idea. Today, I have acquired my knowledge of firearms through my passion for collecting them, as well as my family's extensive military background. This background gives me valuable insights into safety and the importance of responsible gun ownership. I also previously studied healthcare and was a certified BLS provider, so I understand the ability to handle high-pressure situations. Guns are incredibly crucial and important because it strikes at the very heart of our individual rights and freedoms. Understanding the constitutionality of gun control measures help us navigate debates, like the balance of public safety. Also, individual liberties. My purpose here today is to show everyone why banning guns is unconstitutional. We need guns for these reasons. To begin with, the right to bear arms is protected by the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution, which guarantees the right to individual gun ownership. Also, owning guns is crucial for self-defense and protection of our loved ones against potential threats and intruders. Finally, banning guns is infringing on individual liberties and the right to make personal choices regarding responsibility and firearm ownership. Now let's look into the Second Amendment and our rights protected by it. Let us begin with the protection of the right to bear arms under the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. This crucial amendment explicitly states the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. One landmark case that affirms this right is District of Columbia versus Heller, where the Supreme Court recognized the individual's right to own firearms for self-defense in our homes. In November 2008, North writes, the case the Supreme Court will hear was brought by Dick Heller, a security guard, and carrying out his duties, Heller carries a handgun on federal property. However, when he sought to register the same weapon to safeguard his home, he was denied. This historic case was ruled in favor of Mr. Heller, who proved through the Second Amendment he had the right to defend his home with that same weapon. Cass R. Sunstein in 2008 further states, District of Columbia versus Heller is one of the most explicitly and self-consciously originalist opinions in the history of the Supreme Court. This ruling emphasized the importance of the Second Amendment as a fundamental right. Additionally, historical evidence shows that the Founding Fathers included this amendment so that citizens could protect themselves and their liberties. James Madison in Federalist 46 wrote that unlike the governments of Europe, which were afraid to trust the people with arms, the American people under the new Constitution would continue to possess the advantage of being armed, author Wickens explains. Our Founding Fathers, like James Madison, recognized the vital role of an armed citizenry in safeguarding individual liberties and protecting against tyranny. The Second Amendment was made to ensure this. Furthermore, let's now explore why we should not ban guns for self-defense and protecting the ones we hold dear to our heart the most and love the most. Owning a firearm provides individuals with a sense of empowerment and the ability to protect themselves and their loved ones in potentially dangerous situations. In situations where law enforcement response times might be delayed, it can serve as a tool in deterring and defending against criminal threats. It allows people to take an active role in their own protection as well as especially with their family. If you're in a situation where someone you deeply care about is in immediate danger, having a firearm for self-defense could potentially be the difference between life and death for you or your loved one. It is a powerful tool that can empower you to take action and protect those who mean the most to you. Also, banning guns for self-defense would disproportionately impact vulnerable populations, such as elderly, physically weaker individuals, and those living in high-crime areas. By allowing firearms, we ensure that everyone has an equal opportunity to defend themselves regardless of their physical condition. Scott Crow in 2017 explains, decades ago, Malcolm X stated that communities have the legitimate right to defend themselves by any means necessary, with any tool, tactic, even including guns. Malcolm X's words emphasize the importance of self-preservation and the intelligence behind taking action to ensure public safety, especially in the communities that are vulnerable to crime and violence. Finally, banning guns infringes on personal liberties and our rights to personal choices and responsibility. Hunting is deeply rooted in many cultures and communities, and banning guns from hunting restricts individuals to ability to engage in this traditional activity and preserve their cultural heritage. Russell writes, "It is through this culture and social introduction to storytelling that children began to craft their own personal stories. Hunting is a practice passed down from generation to generation. It is one of the biggest ways for communities to connect with nature and preserve their heritage." Finally, we need to keep guns for our own personal responsibility. Banning them removes the opportunity for people to take personal responsibility for their own safety of themselves and their loved ones. So they are unable to choose by the means by which they protect themselves. So they are able to choose by the means in which they protect themselves. When guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns, Mitchell explains. This is supporting the notion that taking away someone's personal choice for a firearm limits only the criminal to having the gun, and which is leaving the innocent person defenseless. By preserving the right to own guns, we uphold the personal choice and individual liberty, allowing people to exercise their autonomy in deciding how to protect themselves and their families. Now let's smoothly transition to our closing for the night. Let us remember the purpose for me here today: to advocate for the preservation of our constitutional rights and our personal freedoms by opposing banning guns. For these very specific reasons, we should never allow this fundamental right to be taken from us as U.S. citizens. The Second Amendment of the United States Constitution enshrines and protects our fundamental right of individuals to possess firearms. Also, the critical aspect of self-defense. Firearms are essential against threats and intruders to defend yourself and your family. Furthermore, it infringes upon the personal liberties, choices, and responsibilities citizens have for themselves. Banning these would curtail our freedom to make anonymous decisions regarding public safety and our self-defense. In conclusion, my friends, let us all remember that the debate regarding banning guns is not merely an abstract discussion. It is a matter that strikes at the heart of our liberties, our rights to defend ourselves, and the preservation of our values as the United States of America. Now let us close out and heed the words of one of our great founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin. "They who give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." These are very powerful words. Let them live with you each day like they do me, and never stop fighting for what you believe in. Thank you.